Hi there friends, if you're new to my channel, my name is Nicole and I'm here today to share with you some of my stage door tips. Now, if you don't know what that means, the stage door is generally the door of a theater that actors come out of after the show. So for a lot of shows on the West End and Broadway, you can go to the stage door after you see the show to get the actor's autograph or a photo with them or just tell them that they did a good job. And it's a really popular thing on Broadway and it's fairly popular here in London as well. So I thought that I would share some tips for you on kind of how I do it whenever I go, because I've had a lot of friends ask me before kind of what to expect, what it's like, any tips, and I thought that I'd go ahead and share it with all of you guys. So first, I will say that I don't always stage door now. I used to stage door like every show that I saw. The summer that I was in New York, I stage doored I think almost everything that I saw. I do love getting my playbills signed so that then you have them, forever with the signatures of the cast and getting to tell everyone that they did a good job. Granted, now that I work in the theater industry, now that I'm a writer for Broadway World and I'm working at the Donmar, it feels a little bit weird sometimes to go to the stage door and meet someone that you might meet later professionally, but I do make exceptions for that. Some examples of that are I went to the stage door after The Woman in White every time that I saw it just to kind of chat with the cast, but they also got to a point I went enough that they kind of knew who I was, and I met some of them already. I met Anna through interviewing her for Broadway World. I'm trying to think. I obviously stage doored Venus and Fair every time that I saw it, but that's a little bit different because I probably will never get to work with Natalie Dormer. So that felt like a good exception to make. And sometimes if my favorite actor is in something, I'll stage door it. Like whenever I go see Les Mis, I always go tell Killian Donnelly that he did a great job after. And occasionally there's something I see, like whenever I went to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, I wasn't planning on stage dooring, but I had to go after because I wanted to tell them all what a splendid job they did, and especially tell the main adult cast, the people who play Harry, Hermione, Ron, and Draco, how perfect I thought they were for their characters and just how lovely they were, and also got my program signed, so that's kind of cool. I do still love a good signed program, but so that's basically like I don't always stage door now, but I still do some of the time. In any case, that's just me, like obviously no stigma against other people who do stage door. Also, before I forget to say it, another theater YouTuber who you should all be subscribed to if you're not already, Amy Lovett, filmed some stage door videos of her own, which I will link down below. I have my notebook here with my 7 stage door tips in it for you guys. So the first one is to ask an usher where the stage door is if you're not sure. Sometimes if I end up arriving to a theater super early, I'll go kind of like suss out where the door is, but most of the time if I don't already know or the friend that I'm with doesn't know, I'll just ask someone in front of house on my way out or at interval / intermission, depending on where you are, and they're typically really happy to tell you. They can typically explain it fairly well, and I just feel like it's always better to ask than wander around and potentially miss someone. My number 2 thing is to be prepared. So one of the things for this is most Broadway stage doors, the actors will come out with their own Sharpie to sign things, but that's not as common in the West End, so I would say definitely bring a pen with you. Sharpies tend to work best. Also think ahead about the color of what you're going to be having them sign. So for some programs are quite dark, so I actually want to go out and buy a gold Sharpie that I can keep with me for signing on those darker programs so that the signature doesn't kind of get lost. Another part of preparation is if you are going to ask for a photo with an actor, make sure that you have your camera on your phone ready to go, that you know whether you want to take a selfie or a normal photo, and if you're taking a normal photo, who's going to take that for you. And also kind of, sometimes I will even check the lighting, like if I think I'm going to do a selfie, I'll take one by myself where I'm standing and see if the lighting will be okay, or if I need to kind of move around based on that. But try and sort all of that out before the actors are there in front of you so that you're not wasting their time. Speaking of that, my number 3 tip is just be respectful of the actors and of the other people coming out of the stage door. Often that is also the place where all of the musicians and the backstage crew and everyone else who's in the theater will come out of. So make sure that you're being respectful of people, especially be respectful of people physically. Like I know there have been issues at different stage doors with different actors, with people getting grabby or, pushing people around, and that's definitely never something that you want to do. Also, just be respectful of their time. Don't take up a bunch of their time because they are on their way home from work. I know a lot of actors come on shows very exhausted. That is, you know, their workplace, and that's how they get home, is to go through the stage door a lot of the time. So just be respectful of that and be mindful and don't monopolize their time, especially if there's a lot of other people waiting. Number 4 kind of goes along with preparation, but it's know what you want to say if you have something in particular that you'd like to say to an actor, especially if it's someone that you're a huge fan of, or if it's a portrayal that you really appreciated. Sometimes while I'm standing there waiting for people to come out, because you do typically have to wait 15-20 minutes for them to get out of costume, out of makeup, maybe just kind of think about what it is that you want to say. If it's anything past just like, great job, that was amazing, well done. You know, for example, meeting Natalie Dormer, who is my favorite film actress or film and TV actress of all time, I kind of had thought beforehand that I wanted to, you know, compliment her portrayal in the performance, talk about how great it was to see a strong female character, and also tell her that I'm a big fan of her period work as well. If you kind of plan that out ahead of time in your head just a little bit, I mean, don't prepare a speech, but sometimes that really helps me, because otherwise sometimes you get in front of that person, especially if there's someone that you really admire, and just your mind goes blank. I famously one time, after seeing Tim Mutu as Javert, he came out at the stage door and I kind of was just like, thanks. Just said thanks. I don't know. I just couldn't get anything out better than that. My number 5 tip is to make friends at the stage door. Oftentimes, I will actually go to stage doors even if I see a show by myself, and I'll typically end up talking to some other girls around my age who are there by themselves or even there with a friend. One time I was at the stage door of Venus in Fur with my friend Patricia, who is from Austria. We ended up talking to a woman who stood beside us who was also from Austria, which was really cool. And it's also really handy because that way, like, I've talked to girls at stage door before and then them asked me if I'll take their photo for them with the actor whenever they come out. So that's a really great way to do it. Also, it's just nice to like have someone to kind of talk about the performance that you just saw together. Number 5 is to remember that an actor does not owe you stage door. I have seen there have been some incidents over the past year with people getting upset about actors not coming out and doing stage door. I feel like the most high profile one was Ben Platt on Broadway, who was on vocal rest part of the time, and also playing Evan Hansen was just very, very exhausting for him, and rightfully so. So he often didn't stage door, and people got very mad at him on social media and were very outspoken about that, and that's just so unfair. Obviously, if an actor stage doors, it's up to them, and sometimes it's not up to them. There also, I know, was a lot of talk around Carrie Hope Fletcher while she was on tour with the Addams Family couldn't always stage door, and that was partially because it was actually a health and safety hazard, because a lot of the tour venues weren't really built for big stage door crowds, and because she has a big audience as a vlogger and an author, she would get large crowds of people coming to the stage door, and that just wasn't always safe, and it wasn't always a good way to get all the other people in the building out of it. And so they kind of had to tell her that she wasn't allowed to stage door except for one night a week. And so I think just be respectful of that. Another one that I can think of is often actors can be sick, or like Laura Benanti never stage doored whenever she was in She Loves Me, pretty much because she was ill and then she was pregnant but couldn't say yet, or didn't say yet. And so obviously if an actress is pregnant, she's probably not going to be wanting to going out and interacting with a lot of people, because that's a lot of germs that she could pick up, and she's also going to be more tired probably. So I did really appreciate that Laura Benanti did always send out pre-signed playbills, which was really, really lovely of her, and something that she totally didn't need to do, but I really appreciated. But so yeah, I just always keep in mind that if an actor doesn't come out, it's okay to be a little bit disappointed, but please never tweet them and like confront them about it, because that's just rude, because you don't know the reason that they're not coming out. They could be ill, they could be not allowed to, they could have had to rush off to get a train or to meet someone, they could have family in to see the show. There's just a plethora of reasons. And the last one I touched on earlier, but just always remember that they are people who just finished their job. So if they seem a bit exhausted, tired, if they're, not exactly in the mood to chat, that's probably why. I don't want to end this on a downer, but just always remember to kind of be respectful of the fact that this is their job and they are on their way home. If you have any questions about stage door, about anything that I said in the video, or comments on anything that I said, feel free to share them down below. Do let me know if you'd like to see more videos kind of about stage door. I know Amy filmed a video about like her favorite stage door experiences, and if anyone has any interest in seeing that, I'd be happy to tell some stories of kind of fun and funny moments that I've had at the stage doors. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel down below. I am inching nearer and nearer to 300 subscribers, and if I hit that, I would be the happiest girl ever. So be sure to subscribe and tell your friends too, if you're not already. And I will see you again later this week for another video. Bye!